The city was dying. Flames climbed broken towers like hungry animals, chewing through metal and stone. Black smoke covered the sky so thick that even the stars could not be seen. Every street shook with distant explosions. Every shadow whispered danger. And in the middle of this burning alien city, something moved fast, something small, terrified, and desperate. A tiny predator cub, no bigger than a house cat, ran through the ashes. Its silver fur was dirty. Its sharp little claws slid on the cracked ground. Its ears were flat with fear. Behind it, a second cub followed, then a third, and soon 7 frightened cubs ran together. They cried in soft, broken voices. The ground trembled, the cubs froze. A deep mechanical roar echoed through the ruins, followed by heavy metal footsteps. The noise grew louder, closer, angrier. The cubs looked at each other, confused and helpless. They smelled smoke and blood. One cub let out a weak cry. Another answered. They were alone, their parents gone, their home destroyed, their world burning, and then they heard it, a voice, a weak human voice. "Hey, hey, little ones, come here." The cubs turned slowly. Their glowing eyes found a figure leaning against a fallen wall, a human woman. Her clothes were torn, blood trickled from a deep cut on her forehead. One of her arms hung awkwardly, possibly broken. She looked exhausted, shaking, ready to collapse. But even in that condition, she smiled at them. "It's okay, I'm not here to hurt you." Her voice was soft, trembling, gentle. Something in her tone made the cubs step closer. They sniffed the air. She smelled like fear, but also warmth. She did not have claws. She did not have fangs. She did not have armor. She was weak, and yet she reached out her hand to them. "Come on, it's not safe here." The cubs hesitated. They were not used to humans. Their elders had told them humans were dangerous, unpredictable enemies. But this human did not look dangerous. She looked like someone who needed help even more than they did. A loud crash behind them made every cub jump. Flames burst from a collapsed building. The human flinched, but she forced herself up. "Come with me, I'll keep you safe." She moved slowly toward them, limping. The cubs backed away at first, unsure, but then another explosion shook the ground. And they panicked. Instinct pushed them toward the closest being offering safety. They ran to her. The woman let out a breath of relief. "Good, good, stay close." She began walking through the burning streets, the 7 cubs following her like a strange little parade. Each step hurt her. She felt dizzy, but she kept moving because the cubs kept crying and she could not leave them alone. The city roared again. A shockwave blew dust into the air. The woman fell to her knees. One cub rushed forward and nudged her hand with its head. "Oh, thank you," she whispered. She forced herself up again. The other side of the city, far away, on the city's highest surviving tower, the elite predator guards stood silent as statues. 6 towering warriors in full battle armor scanned the burning horizon. Their armor was dark bronze, shining even under the smoke clouds. Their mask-like helmets hid their faces. Their long, dread-like tendrils hung behind them like whips of shadow. When the lightning cracked the sky, the leader raised his head. His armor carried the markings of a war chief. The plasma blade on his back hummed with deadly energy. He stared into the flames. "She's still alive," he growled. The warrior beside him tilted his head. "The human, yes," the leader replied. "Find her." Another warrior stepped forward. "But why? Humans are weak meat. Why does she matter?" The leader turned slowly. Even through his helmet, his anger could be felt like heat. "She matters because the cubs matter." His voice shook the metal beneath their feet, and the cubs are with her. A cold silence fell over the guard. They understood. If the cubs were alive, they must be protected, no matter the cost. "Move," the leader commanded. The 6 armored warriors leaped from the tower, landing in the streets below with thunderous impact. The ground cracked beneath them. They unfurled their weapons. The hunt began. Back with the human, the woman found a half-collapsed shelter, a broken bunker with only 3 walls standing. It wasn't safe, but it was better than the open street. She gathered the cubs inside. "Okay, okay, stay quiet," she whispered. The cubs circled around her, making soft crying sounds. One climbed into her lap, another pawed at her jacket, a third pressed its tiny head into her chest. "You're scared," she whispered. "I know, I'm scared too." Her voice shook with exhaustion. Outside, the city groaned and cracked under the heat. Fires burned like rivers of light. The woman leaned against the wall. Her eyes fluttered closed for a moment. No, she forced them open again. I have to stay awake." She pulled the cubs closer so the heat of her body kept them warm. She wrapped her arms around them, ignoring the pain in her broken arm. "You're going to be okay," she whispered to them. "I promise." The smallest cub placed its tiny paw on her cheek. It was a gesture of trust. Her throat tightened. The first signal, the city shook again, but this time it wasn't from an explosion. This was heavier, rhythmic, metal hitting stone. The woman froze. The cubs hissed and pressed close to her. Footsteps. Powerful, mechanical footsteps. Her heart started pounding. "No, not now, not them." She lifted her head weakly and looked through the broken wall. At first, she saw nothing. Then she saw them, 6 tall, armored warriors walking through fire like monsters from a nightmare. Their armor glowed from heat. Their weapons shined like silver lightning. The elite predator guard, they moved with purpose. They were searching. The cubs whimpered. The woman pulled them tighter. SHH, don't make a sound," but it was too late. The leader stopped walking. His masked head turned slowly toward the exact direction of the shelter. He sniffed the air. Human, he said. The warriors spread out. They began marching toward her location. The woman's breath shook. She pushed the cubs gently behind her even though her body was already failing. No, no, stay back, she whispered to the approaching silhouettes. I won't let you take them. She grabbed a broken metal pipe from the ground. It wasn't a weapon, but it was all she had. Her vision blurred, her knees trembled. She could barely breathe, but she stood in front of the cubs, blocking them with her own body. If you want them, she swallowed hard. You go through me. Outside, the elite guard closed in like shadows with blades. Inside, 7 tiny cubs hid behind a dying human who refused to run. A moment of heavy silence filled the burning city. The leader stepped forward, lightning flashed behind him. The woman raised her makeshift weapon even though it shook in her hand. The leader stared at her wounds, at the cubs behind her, at her shaking body trying to protect them. His grip on his weapon tightened, and then he growled one sentence that shook the air. Why does a human protect our young? The woman's legs finally gave out. She collapsed to her knees. The cubs cried and ran to her, protecting her with their small bodies. Thunder rolled across the burning sky. The leader took one step forward, and everything changed. The world seemed to hold its breath. The elite predator guard stood outside the broken shelter, their armor glowing from the heat of the burning city. The human woman knelt on the floor, barely holding herself up. 7 small cubs pressed against her, trying to hide behind her trembling arms. The guard leader took one more step. Then the ground shook violently. Dust fell from the broken shelter roof. The cubs hissed. The human woman looked up with fear in her fading eyes. The guard members tensed, raising their weapons. Something heavy, something alive, was moving beneath the city. The leader's voice was low. Prepare yourselves. A deep growl rose from the underground. Something punched upward from below, cracking the street in half. Flames burst into the air. The broken shelter walls shook. The woman covered the cubs with her own body, even though she could barely move. One warrior whispered, "No, it cannot be." The ground split open like a giant mouth, and then it came out. A massive shadow rose from the crack. A beast the size of a truck climbed from the depths, skin black as coal, eyes glowing bright red, long claws scraping the concrete. Its roar shook the entire block. A ravager beast, a monster known for hunting predator young. The cubs cried in terror. The woman hugged them tighter. The guard leader shouted, "Ravager, protect the young." The beast leaped toward the shelter with a roar, but the guard charged faster. 3 warriors slammed into the beast with full force. Their blades flashed, sparks flew, they cut deep, but the ravager was strong, too strong. It swung its tail, hitting one warrior so hard he flew into a burning wall. The woman watched the battle with wide eyes. She had seen many horrors tonight, but nothing like this. The beast's roar felt like a hammer in her skull, but the cubs needed her. She pressed them closer. It's okay, I'm here," she whispered. Her voice shook. But she refused to break. The beast turns toward the shelter. The battle outside became violent. Fire, smoke, and raw power filled the air. The guard fought bravely, but the beast kept trying to break through the warriors, heading straight toward the shelter, toward the cubs, toward her. The leader noticed this and roared, "It smells the young, do not let it reach them." But the beast was fast. It slammed one warrior aside and rushed toward the shelter, claws scraping the ground. The woman tried to stand, but her legs wouldn't respond. All she could do was shield the cubs with her body. The beast's eyes locked on them. It roared. The woman closed her eyes. The cubs cried. The beast lunged. A plasma spear flew through the air like lightning and stabbed straight into the beast's neck. The beast fell back, screaming. A new warrior stepped out of the smoke. His armor was damaged. His steps were slow. A deep wound leaked dark blood across his chest plate. But he stood tall, back from the dead. The leader growled. The injured warrior nodded. "I heard the distress call. I came." He pulled another spear from his back. "I will not let the cubs die." The woman stared at him, his armor markings, his posture. Something about him felt different, not like the others. His eyes behind the mask seemed almost gentle. He looked at her just for a second. Something unspoken passed between them. Then he charged at the beast. A fight like a storm. The injured warrior fought like a mad spirit. His blades cut arcs of blue light. His armor cracked more with every movement, but he refused to stop. The beast roared and attacked. He blocked, struck, dodged, fell, rose again. The woman felt her heart beating hard. She had never seen such courage. But she suddenly realized something else. The injured warrior wasn't fighting for the guard. He was fighting for the cubs and for her. The beast slammed him against the wall. His mask cracked. Blood spilled onto the ground, but he pushed himself up again. The leader shouted, "Fall back, warrior, you are wounded." The warrior answered, "I bleed for the young, let me finish this." His voice was full of pain and pride. He threw his second spear straight into the beast's mouth. The ravager roared one final time and collapsed, shaking the ground. Silence. Only the crackling fire remained. The woman let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. The cubs crawled out from behind her, trembling but alive. They approached the injured warrior and touched his leg gently with their tiny paws. He lowered his head to them. "You are safe now." The guard reacts. 2 warriors lifted the heavy ravager corpse aside. One said, "Why was a beast like this under the city?" Another replied, "Someone released it." The leader looked around. His instincts were sharp. His eyes scanned the destroyed buildings, the cracked streets. This was a trap, he growled. Someone wanted the cubs dead, he pointed at the woman, and someone wanted the human dead too. The warriors looked at each other. Suspicion filled the air. Who would do this? One asked. Someone who fears the truth, the leader replied. He turned to the woman. She tried to stand but fell again. The leader stepped closer. Why did you protect them? She was shaking, her voice weak. Because no one else would. Her eyes dropped to the cubs. They were alone, scared, crying. I couldn't leave them. A quiet wave passed through the guard. Confusion, respect, doubt, dangerous emotions. The leader stared at her for a long moment. Then he said something no warrior expected. She saved our young. She is not prey. Gasps rose behind him. The injured warrior nodded slowly. Without her, the cubs would be dead. One warrior growled, she is a human, our enemy. The leader's voice boomed like thunder. She is a protector. A second threat appears before anyone could speak again. A sharp whistle cut through the air. The leader spun around. A glowing blue dart struck the ground, crackling with electricity. A sniper. A second dart hit a warrior's armor. He collapsed. Ambush, the injured warrior yelled. The cubs screamed. The woman covered them again, but the leader stepped in front of her. Another dart flew. He caught it midair with his bare hand. His armor sparked, but he crushed the dart easily. He pointed toward the rooftops. There on the east wall, the guard spread out, but the sniper fired again, this time targeting the woman. The leader moved faster than thought. He blocked the shot with his body. The dart exploded on his armor, sending sparks everywhere. The woman gasped. He turned to her. I will not let harm come to you or them. She looked into his mask, stunned. Why are you saving me? She whispered. The leader answered, because you saved what is ours. The enemy reveals itself. A tall figure jumped down from the roof, landing with perfect control. His armor was lighter, sleeker, painted in the dark colors of forbidden clans. A traitor warrior, he smiled coldly. So the rumors were true. A human cares more for your cubs than your own warriors do. The leader growled deeply. You dare show your face after betraying our blood? The traitor shrugged. These cubs stand in the way of a new order. They must die, and the human too. He aimed his energy weapon straight at the woman. She froze. The cubs hissed in fear. The leader stepped in front of her, but before he could react, the injured warrior threw himself between them. The shot hit him in the chest. He fell to the ground. The woman cried out. The cubs screamed. The leader roared so loud that the fires themselves trembled. You will pay for that. The traitor smiled. Come then. Old friend, cliffhanger ending of part 2. The two warriors charged at each other, blades raised, fire reflecting off their armor. The woman tried to crawl toward the injured warrior. The cubs huddled around her, shaking. Smoke rose around them like a dark curtain. The world blurred between fire and steel. The fate of the cubs, the fate of the human, the fate of the entire predator clan hung in the balance. And the fight had only just begun. The world became a blur of fire and steel. The traitor warrior and the predator leader clashed in the burning street, their plasma blades striking with thunderous force. Each impact sent sparks flying across the city ruins. Buildings shook, flames danced, smoke twisted around them like angry spirits. But the human woman saw none of that. Her eyes were fixed on the injured warrior lying on the ground. The warrior who had thrown himself in front of her. The warrior who had saved the cubs. The warrior who should have died. Blood dripped from the hole burned into his armor. His breathing was shallow, fast, painful. The woman crawled toward him, ignoring the burning glass under her hands. The cubs followed her, making soft, frightened cries. She reached his side. No, stay awake, she whispered. His mask was cracked. Through the opening she saw one of his eyes. It was dull, fading, but still watching her. You are safe, he whispered. You shouldn't have done that, she said, her voice breaking. He tried to laugh but coughed blood. Warrior instinct. One cub climbed onto his chest and cried softly, nuzzling his neck. The warrior's fingers trembled as he touched the cub gently. Little one, don't cry. The woman swallowed hard. He was dying and she couldn't save him. Meanwhile, the duel of betrayal across the ruins, the leader and the traitor circled each other. Their armor glowed red from heat. Their breath came out like smoke. You were once my brother, the leader growled. I was never your brother, the traitor replied. I follow strength, not weakness. You call killing children strength, the traitor smirked. Children grow into rivals. They clashed again, their blades collided with a shockwave that blew fire outward. The traitor moved fast, too fast, dancing through smoke like a ghost. He slashed the leader's arm, cutting into armor. The leader roared and struck back. But the traitor was agile, unpredictable. He leaped from wall to wall, attacking from all angles. You are old, the traitor shouted. You are slow, you fight for a human. The leader blocked another strike and pushed the traitor back. I fight for honor. The traitor laughed so loudly the city echoed with it. Honor is dead, survival is the only law. Back to the human, the woman pressed her hand against the warrior's wound, trying to stop the blood. It's okay, she whispered. Help is coming, but she knew it wasn't true. The warrior shook his head slightly. You saved the cubs, he murmured. You changed everything. I didn't do anything, she said. You did more than you know. His voice was weak. You made the guard question our beliefs. She blinked. What do you mean? Humans and predators, enemies for centuries, but you, he coughed again. You protected our young. No warrior could ignore that. The cubs nuzzled into him, trying to warm his cold armor. The woman looked at him with pain in her heart. You're not going to die, she said quietly. He stared at her for a long moment, then gave a small smile. I already did. The sky breaks open, a sudden blast of blue light cut across the sky so bright the woman shielded her eyes. A giant ship broke through the smoke clouds, dark metal, enormous, shaped like a spear thrown from the heavens. It descended slowly, engines glowing like burning moons. The leader stumbled as he looked upward. No, not them, the traitor laughed. Yes, they come for the cubs. The High Council finally acts. The leader's voice turned to stone. They will kill her. The traitor raised his blade. They will kill you too. The woman felt fear creep into her bones. A second ship broke through the clouds, then a third. Heavy dropships landed across the ruins, shaking the earth. War horns echoed across the city, deep, powerful. Ancient, the High Council's death division. Predators feared even by predators. The woman held the cubs close. What's happening? She whispered. The dying warrior's voice was barely a breath. They do not believe you saved the cubs. They believe you stole them. She froze. They think I kidnapped them. He nodded weakly. And the punishment is death. The traitor's victory. The traitor, emboldened by the arrival of the death division, lunged at the leader with a furious strike. The leader wasn't ready. The blade sliced across his chest, cutting deep into armor and flesh. He staggered backward, roaring in pain. The traitor laughed. Your time is over. He rushed forward for the killing blow, but the leader grabbed his blade with his bare hand. Sparks flew, flesh burned, armor tore. Yes, the leader growled. My time may be over. He pulled the traitor closer. But yours ends first. He headbutted the traitor with such force that the traitor's helmet shattered like glass. The traitor fell to the ground, dazed. The leader raised his blade to finish him. A powerful energy burst struck the leader from the side, throwing him across the street. The death division had arrived. The death division arrived. 6 heavily armored warriors marched toward the shelter. Their armor was black and silver. Their helmets had no eyes, just smooth metal, emotionless, cruel. The woman backed away instinctively, pressing the cubs behind her. The leader tried to stand, coughing blood. Stay away from her, he groaned. The death division ignored him. Their commander spoke in a deep, robotic voice. The human has violated sacred blood rules. Penalty, termination. The woman's heart dropped. I didn't do anything. I saved them. Your words are irrelevant, the commander replied coldly. One black-armored warrior lifted a massive cannon. The woman froze. She couldn't run. She couldn't fight. She couldn't even stand properly. She simply closed her eyes and held the cubs, the dying warrior's last act before the cannon could fire. A weak hand grabbed the woman's wrist. The injured warrior, the one who should have died, was pushing himself up. His voice was faint, broken. Run, he stood, barely shaking, bleeding, but he stood between her and the death division. The cubs looked up at him, trembling. The commander tilted his head. You are gravely wounded, move aside. The injured warrior lifted his blade. No. Even the leader stared in shock. He was choosing to protect a human. The commander raised his cannon again. Then you die with her. The woman reached out. No, don't, but the warrior stepped forward, planting his feet. He whispered without turning, I already died once tonight. I do not fear it again. Energy built in the cannon. The air vibrated. The city trembled. The cubs cried. The woman screamed. And the cannon fired a blinding blast of blue light straight at them. The world exploded in blue light. The energy blast from the death division cannon tore through the burning city like a storm of lightning. Dust and fire shot into the air. Buildings crumbled. Shockwaves raced across the ground. The human woman closed her eyes and hugged the cubs, waiting for death. But death did not come, not yet. When she opened her eyes, she saw something she would never forget. The injured warrior, the one who stood between her and the cannon, was still on his feet. Barely, his armor was glowing white-hot. Cracks of blue energy crawled across his chest like living lightning. He stared at his own hands in disbelief. The blast had not killed him. It had gone through him like his body absorbed it. The Death Division commander stepped back, confused. That is not possible. The leader stared too, breathing heavily. It chose him. The injured warrior fell to one knee. Smoke rose from his armor. His eyes glowed faintly blue behind his cracked mask. He whispered, "What is happening to me?" The woman crawled closer, shocked. You shielded us." He looked at her. "I didn't shield you. Something shielded me." The ground under him pulsed with soft blue light. The cubs reached him and sniffed his hands. Their little bodies glowed faintly too, reflecting the same strange energy. The Death Division commander stepped forward. "This is forbidden power, energy of the ancient core. He must be contained." The injured warrior tried to stand but collapsed again. The woman placed a hand on his shoulder. "Don't move, save your strength." He looked at her, confused and weak. "I don't understand, I should be dead." She squeezed his shoulder. "You're not, that's what matters." The Death Division reacts. The commander pointed at the warrior. "Seize him." Two black-armored hunters marched toward him, but the cubs suddenly stood between them and the warrior. They lowered their tiny heads. Their fur stood up. Their eyes glowed bright, burning blue like stars. The hunters stopped. The woman gasped. "What's wrong with them?" The leader answered, voice rough. "They are reacting to the ancient energy. The energy recognizes him. The cubs were born with traces of it." The commander snapped, "Remove the children. They are corrupted." The woman's eyes widened. "Corrupted? They're just babies. They are dangerous." The commander said, "They are innocent," she shouted. The commander raised his cannon toward her. "You have no right to speak, human." The woman froze, her heart pounded. The cubs hissed and pressed against her legs. She whispered, "Please don't hurt them." The commander ignored her and aimed again, but the leader stepped between them. "You will not harm the young." The commander turned his featureless mask to him. "You disobey the council." "I obey my honor," the leader replied. The tension was sharp like a blade. The Death Division prepared to fire. The guard prepared to defend. The woman clutched the cubs, and the injured warrior, barely conscious, whispered, "Run, please, just run." The ground breaks again before the battle could explode. The ground trembled under everyone's feet, a deep rumble, a vibration like something ancient waking below the ground. Blue cracks formed across the destroyed street. The commander looked down. What now? Blue cracks spread fast like veins of light racing through the earth. A warrior shouted, "It's the core. The ancient core is unstable." The leader snarled, "You fools!" Firing the cannon awakened it. The commander growled, "Contain the human, eliminate the warrior." But the ground split open before they could act. A pillar of blue light erupted upward, swallowing the injured warrior, the woman, and the cubs in a glowing vortex. The Death Division staggered back. The leader shielded his eyes. The vortex lifted them into the air. The woman grabbed the cubs, terrified. The injured warrior floated beside her, eyes glowing pure blue. He whispered, "I can feel everything." The leader shouted, "Do not fight it. Let the core speak." But the woman didn't understand. "What does it want?" The leader shouted back, "It wants you to choose." Inside the light, the woman felt herself falling into a peaceful darkness. Then she stood on solid ground, not the burning city. A blue world, silent and calm. The cubs were beside her, their fur glowing like tiny suns. The injured warrior stood too, but he was not weak anymore. His armor was repaired, shining with blue energy. His injuries were gone. He looked around in awe. "We are inside the core," he whispered. "A creation realm." The woman trembled. "Is it real?" The warrior nodded. "It is older than all our worlds." A soft, warm voice echoed around them. "Not male, not female. Just ancient. Protector." The woman froze. "Protector." The voice spoke again. "This one carries courage. This one carries innocence." Together they balanced the flame. The woman felt her chest tighten. It was talking about her and the cubs. The warrior stepped forward. "What do you want from us?" The voice answered, "A choice." The blue light around them shifted, forming shapes, visions, a burning city, dead cubs, a human woman crying alone, a predator war spanning galaxies. "Millions dying," the woman gasped. "No, please," the voice. "This future comes if the young die tonight." Her heart raced. She couldn't breathe. The vision changed. This time she saw the cubs grown strong, noble, leading armies of predators and humans fighting side by side, no longer enemies. A future of peace, a future of unity. The woman whispered, "That's beautiful." But the vision shifted again, a third possibility. She and the injured warrior standing together. Guarding the cubs, her holding a strange glowing mark on her arm, him holding a weapon that glowed the same color. "Protectors chosen." The voice spoke gently. "The young trust you. The warrior trusts you. If you choose them, we choose you." Her breath caught. "Choose me for what?" The answer felt like a warm wind. "To become the heart guardian." The warrior looked shocked. "That title hasn't been spoken in 1,000 years." The woman shook her head. I'm not powerful. I'm not brave like him. I'm just, you are the shield. He is the blade, the young are the future." The light wrapped around her gently. "Choose and we protect you. Protect the young, protect the warrior." The cubs pressed their heads against her legs as if begging her. The warrior stepped closer and knelt. "I will follow your choice," he said softly. "I owe you my life." Tears filled her eyes. "I don't want to be a hero," she whispered. "You already are," he replied. The choice, the blue light shimmered. A mark appeared in the air, glowing, ancient, shaped like a heart combined with claws. The voice spoke one last time. "Touch the mark and become the guardian." Her hand trembled. She looked at the cubs, she looked at the warrior, she looked at the burning future waiting outside. Then she touched the mark. Light exploded around them. Her body lifted into the air. The cub's eyes glowed brighter. The warrior bowed his head as her entire being filled with blue fire. Her skin lit up with ancient symbols. A glowing mark formed on her arm. Her wounds healed. Her strength returned. For the first time in her life, she felt powerful, not as a weapon, but as a protector. When the light faded, she stood tall. Her eyes shined blue. The cub sat protectively at her feet, and the warrior said in a shaking voice, "You are chosen." The world of blue light shattered like glass. The woman felt herself falling through brightness, through sound, through a rush of warm energy. The cubs clung to her arms. The warrior fell with them, glowing faintly, and then they slammed back into reality. The burning alien city returned, the smoke, the fire, the ruins, but everything looked different now. The woman stood up slowly, breathing deeply. The blue mark on her arm pulsed with soft light. Her eyes glowed like blue fire. Her wounds were gone. Her body felt strong, not unnatural, just complete. The cubs gathered around her feet. Their fur glowed the same gentle blue. The injured warrior stood fully healed. His armor had transformed. Ancient patterns glowed across the plates as if the armor remembered a past life. The leader stared in awe. "You returned changed." The Death Division commander stepped back. "This is impossible. The core bonds only with royal blood." The woman looked around, confused. "I didn't ask for this. I just wanted to protect them." The commander lowered his cannon. "An outsider, a human, cannot carry the guardian mark. You are a threat." He aimed at her again. The cubs growled. The warrior stepped in front of her. No, the warrior said calmly. She is under the Corps' protection now. The commander replied, then you share her fate. He fired. A blast of red energy screamed towards them. The woman didn't think. Her body moved by instinct. She raised her hand. A blue shield erupted from her palm, a curved wall of light shaped like flowing water. The blast slammed into it and bent around her like harmless wind. Everyone froze. The leader whispered, by the ancestors, she is truly a guardian. The woman looked at her own hands. I didn't mean to do that. The warrior stepped beside her. You don't control the power, he said softly. The power protects what you love. Her eyes softened. She looked down at the cubs. The Death Division attacks, the commander shouted. Eliminate the Guardian. Black-armored soldiers charged forward. The leader roared and met them head-on. His blade clashed with their dark armor, sparks flying like stars. The guard warriors joined the battle, turning the street into a storm of steel. The woman backed away with the cubs. Her heart pounded. I don't want to hurt anyone, she whispered. The warrior beside her nodded. But they want to kill the cubs, they want to kill you. He lifted his glowing blade. You must defend yourself. She looked at her glowing arm. But I don't know how. You will learn, he said. You already started. A Death Division assassin leaped toward her with twin plasma blades. The woman gasped. Her instincts kicked in. A wave of blue energy burst from her chest, throwing the assassin across the ruins like a rag doll. She stared in shock. I didn't mean, the warrior placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You protected the cubs, that is enough. She swallowed hard. Will it always be like this? She asked. No, he said, only tonight. The leader falls in the middle of the battle. The leader faced 3 Death Division warriors. Their blades struck him again and again. He blocked, dodged, countered, but he was outnumbered. One blade cut into his side, another broke his shoulder armor. A third sliced across his mask, revealing his fierce eyes. Still, he stood tall. But the commander aimed his cannon straight at the leader's back. The woman saw it. No, she ran forward. The warrior shouted after her, Guardian, wait. The commander fired. The leader turned too late. The blast hit the woman instead, but the energy didn't kill her. The blast sank into her chest like water absorbed. She staggered but didn't fall. The cubs gasped. The commander froze. What are you? Blue fire rose from the woman's skin. She looked up, breathing hard. I'm someone who's done being afraid. A new power awakens. The woman lifted her hand again. Blue energy wrapped around her fingers. It felt like liquid flame, warm, alive, listening. She didn't know how she knew, but she knew what to do. She pointed her hand at the commander. The air bent. A beam of blue shot forward like a spear. The commander raised his shield too slow. The beam struck, sending him flying into a wall so hard the stone cracked. The battle stopped. Both sides stared. The woman lowered her hand slowly, trembling. I don't want to kill anyone. The leader, holding his wounded side, nodded. That is why the Corps chose you. The warrior stepped up beside her. You protect, not destroy. The cubs purred softly around her legs. She looked down at them, her heart aching. It chose me because of them. The warrior smiled under his cracked mask. Yes. The Death Division retreats. The commander crawled out of the rubble, armor cracked. Mask broken, his voice shook. This should not be possible. He looked at the blue light growing stronger around the woman. A human as guardian, this changes everything. He raised his hand. All units retreat. The black-armored warriors stopped fighting and stepped back immediately. They moved like shadows vanishing into smoke. The commander pointed at the woman. This is not over. The High Council will come for you. He turned sharply and disappeared into the burning streets. Silence returned. Only fire and breathing remained. Aftermath. The leader dropped to one knee, exhausted and wounded. The warrior rushed to help him. You fought well, the warrior said. The leader grunted. I am old but not defeated. He looked at the woman. Guardian, what is your name? She froze for a moment. My name, it's Maya. The leader nodded slowly. Maya the Guardian, he said, a name our world will remember. The warrior bowed his head to her. You saved us. You saved the cubs. You saved me. Maya shook her head. You saved me first. Their eyes met. A quiet understanding passed between them. A new path. The leader spoke again. Maya, the Death Division will return. The High Council will not allow a human guardian to live. Maya lowered her eyes. So what do I do? The cubs must reach the sacred sanctuary, the leader said. It is the only place where the council cannot touch them. And I have to take them there. Yes. And the warrior will go with you. The warrior stepped forward. I swear on my life, I will protect you and the young. Maya exhaled slowly. She didn't want war. She didn't want power. She didn't want to be hunted. But looking at the cubs, she knew she had no choice. I'll go, she said. The leader nodded. Then your journey begins now. Maya lifted the smallest cub. The warrior stepped to her side. The fires of the city burned behind them, and together they walked into the unknown. Night returned to the burning city like a dark blanket full of ghosts. Black smoke covered the sky. The moon was only a faint silver circle behind the clouds. Strange animal cries echoed between broken buildings. The air smelled of metal, fire, and danger. Maya walked slowly through the ruins, carrying 2 cubs in her arms. The other 5 followed close, their glowing blue fur lighting the ground around them. The warrior walked beside her, blade ready, eyes scanning every shadow. The leader had stayed behind to hold the city. Maya and the warrior now traveled alone toward the Forbidden Night Road, a hidden path that led to the sacred sanctuary, but no one traveled that path willingly. Stories said the Night Road was alive. Stories said it watched travelers and judged them. Maya hugged the cubs tighter. "Why is it so quiet?" she whispered. The warrior answered without looking at her. "The Night Road senses your presence." "That doesn't make me feel better," muttered. The warrior gave a small smile. "You will be safe, I am here." She felt her heart beat faster, not from fear, from something else. But she pushed the feeling down. They had more important things to worry about. Entering the forbidden path, they reached an enormous canyon split open like a scar across the world. Jagged rocks leaned inward like the jaws of a giant beast. Strange symbols glowed on the canyon walls. Maya took a step back. "This is the Night Road." "Yes," the warrior said. "A living canyon, older than our race." "Living?" Maya whispered. The canyon hummed low and deep. The cubs whined and pressed against Maya's legs. "It recognizes them," the warrior said. "And you, what does it want from us?" "To test you." She swallowed. "How?" The warrior didn't answer. He simply walked into the canyon. Maya followed, holding the cubs close. The canyon walls shivered. Blue dust floated in the air like glowing snow. The ground under their feet pulsed softly like a heartbeat. As they walked deeper, the world became quiet, too quiet. Even the fires of the city faded into silence. Maya felt watched from every direction. She whispered, "It's like the canyon is listening." The warrior corrected her quietly, "It is." The Night Road shows its first vision. The ground suddenly lit up under Maya's feet. A soft blue fog rose around her. "Maya," the warrior shouted, reaching for her. But the fog swallowed her whole, separating them. She felt blind. She felt alone. Her heart raced. Then she saw something forming in the fog of vision, a human military base. Soldiers shouting, alarms blaring, people running. She recognized it. It was her own past. She saw herself younger, weaker, trained to save civilians during an attack. She protected a child under collapsed metal beams. Her hands bled. Her voice shook. Her younger self whispered in fear, "I can't hold it. I can't save him." Maya whispered from the present, "You did save him. You survived. Why am I seeing this?" The canyon answered with another vision. She saw herself standing in front of a predator warrior years ago, unarmed, terrified, but refusing to run. It was the moment everything changed, the moment she was marked an enemy. Her younger voice cried out, "I don't want to kill anyone, please." But no one listened. She saw the first cub she ever saved, a small, injured one she hid during a raid. She remembered telling it, "You're safe, stay quiet." The vision disappeared suddenly. The fog faded. Maya gasped and stumbled back into the canyon path. The warrior caught her. "Maya, are you hurt?" She shook her head. "No, but the canyon showed me things from my past." The warrior's face softened. "It tests your heart." "Did it test you too?" she asked. He looked away. "Yes, long ago. When I was young." Maya wanted to ask more, but something else interrupted them. A distant rumble, a cold wind, a new presence. The canyon was not done testing. The warrior's trial, the ground shifted under them. This time fog rose around the warrior. The cubs cried and ran to Maya. "Wait!" Maya reached for the warrior's arm, but the fog pulled him away. He vanished. Maya screamed, "No, bring him back." But the canyon did not listen. Inside the fog, the warrior saw visions, not of Maya, not of humans, but of his own past. The memory hit him like a blade. He saw himself as a young soldier standing beside his mentor, the previous guardian, a powerful predator warrior with golden armor and a calm voice. The mentor said, "Protect the weak. That is the highest honor." The young warrior nodded, but then he saw the night his mentor was killed, ambushed by traitors from the council. The young warrior tried to save him, but he was too slow. He heard his mentor's last words, "You must protect the next guardian." The fog swirled and showed him Maya, glowing with blue light. The warrior felt his throat tighten. "So this was always my destiny." The canyon whispered, "You accept." The warrior lowered his head. "I accept." The fog released him. Maya ran and hugged him before she even realized what she was doing. "I thought you were gone," she breathed. He stood stiff for a second, surprised, then slowly relaxed. "I will not leave you," he said quietly. The cubs cuddled both of their legs, but they didn't know the most dangerous test was still waiting. The night creature wakes. The canyon shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Rocks cracked. The pulsing ground became unstable. Maya grabbed the cubs and backed away. "What now?" she whispered. The warrior's hand tightened on his blade. "The Night Road has accepted us," he said. "But now we face its guardian." A deep growl echoed through the canyon. Maya froze. Blue eyes opened in the darkness. A massive shape crawled out from a cave in the canyon wall. Its body was made of stone and glowing lines of blue energy. It had 4 legs, each ending in claws the size of swords. Its head was a mix of wolf and dragon. The warrior whispered, "A night warden." Maya whispered back, "Is it friendly?" "No." The warden roared. The canyon walls trembled. The cubs hid behind Maya's legs. The warden charged. The warrior moved instantly, pulling Maya behind him. "Run!" But Maya didn't run. The cubs were behind her. She raised her glowing arm. Blue fire burst from her chest. The warden's charge slowed just for a moment. The warrior leaped in with his blade, slicing across the creature's stone armor. Sparks flew, but the cut was shallow. The creature roared again. Maya shouted, "It's too strong." The warrior gritted his teeth. Then we fight together. He leaped high, striking the warden's eyes. Maya sent a shield to block a claw that would have crushed him. The cub circled and bit the warden's legs, distracting it. The creature stumbled. Maya felt the core energy flowing inside her like a river. She raised both hands. A wave of blue light blasted from her, cracking the warden's stone body. The warrior saw the opening. He jumped and drove his blade deep into its heart. The warden roared and collapsed into glowing dust. Maya fell to her knees, exhausted. The warrior rushed to her. "Maya, are you injured?" She breathed hard. "No, just tired." The cubs climbed into her lap, licking her arms. The warrior knelt beside them. "You fought like a guardian," he said. She looked up at him. "And you fought like someone who refuses to leave me." He lowered his head, voice soft. "I will never leave you." For the first time, Maya didn't look away. She whispered, "I'm glad." The canyon opens the path. The night road became calm again. The walls hummed softly. A new path opened, a glowing tunnel leading forward. The warrior stood and offered his hand. "Maya, the sanctuary waits." She took his hand, the cubs followed, and together they walked into the glowing tunnel, not knowing that the council had already discovered their destination, and an army was waiting. The glowing tunnel opened into silence, a strange silence. A silence that felt too perfect, like the world was holding its breath. Maya stepped out first, carrying the smallest cub in her arms. The other 6 followed closely, their blue fur lighting the dark path. The warrior walked behind them, blade drawn, every muscle ready for danger. But what they saw next didn't look dangerous at all. The air suddenly changed. It smelled clean, peaceful, warm. The tunnel ended at a cliff overlooking a massive valley, glowing forests. Floating rivers of light, crystal trees, and strange gentle creatures wandering peacefully. It looked like the world before war existed. Maya gasped. This place is beautiful." The warrior nodded but didn't relax. "This is the sacred sanctuary, a hidden world, a world no one reaches unless the core allows it." The cubs ran forward joyfully, chasing glowing butterflies and playing in the soft light. Maya's heart melted. They looked free here, safe. But the warrior did not smile. Something was wrong. Maya noticed his silence. "What's bothering you?" He stared at the crystal horizon. "I have never been here," he said, "and if the sanctuary opened for us, it means something ancient is stirring." Maya hugged the cub in her arms. "You mean something dangerous?" The warrior did not answer. He didn't have to. The light around them flickered. A voice older than time, a soft wind blew across the valley. The ground seemed to breathe. And then a voice, calm, ancient, full of weight, filled the air. "Guardian, you have arrived." Maya froze. Who is that?" A shape formed in the sky, a massive blue outline of a creature. Half lion, half dragon, wings like carved mountains. Its eyes glowed bright like twin suns. The cubs hid behind Maya. The warrior lowered his head in respect. "That is the Eternal Warden," he said quietly, "the keeper of the sanctuary." The giant creature landed in front of them, the ground shaking softly under its paws. "Guardian Maya," it said, "you carry the mark, you protect the young, you are worthy." Maya swallowed hard. Worthy for what? For the truth. The warden lowered its enormous head. "These 7 cubs are not normal children." Maya blinked. "What do you mean?" The warrior stiffened. The warden's voice echoed through the valley. "They are the 7 heirs." Maya stared. "Heirs? Heirs to what?" "To the throne." The warden's body glowed brighter. "These cubs were born from the last royal bloodline of the predator race. If they die, your worlds fall into eternal war. If they live, peace becomes possible." Maya's heart dropped. She looked down at the cubs playing near her feet. These tiny, soft creatures were meant to rule a planet, to end a war. "But why me?" Maya whispered. "Why did the core choose me to protect them?" The warden's answer made her breath stop. "Because humans created the war." Everything froze. Maya stepped back. "What? That's not true. Humans didn't start this." The warden lifted its wings. "Not your humans, the ancient humans, the ones who vanished thousands of years ago." The warrior stepped back in shock. "That is impossible. Humans are new to the galaxy." The warden's voice rumbled. "No, humans are older than the predator race. Older and more dangerous when united." Maya shook her head. "You're lying. Humans never had that kind of power." The warden replied softly, "That is because your ancestors erased your own history. And now their mistakes return through you." Maya felt the ground shake beneath her feet. The enemy arrives early. Before she could speak, the sky exploded. A massive sound like 1,000 thunderbolts at once cracked across the valley. The warrior shouted, "Get down." Maya grabbed the cubs and ducked. Fire streaked through the clouds. Ships descended, dark metal, sharp angles, glowing red insignias. The council army, they had found the sanctuary. Maya whispered, shaking. "How did they get in? This place is protected." The warrior growled, "Someone betrayed us." The warden's massive eyes narrowed. "The traitor still breathes." Maya's heart sank. "You mean someone from the guard?" The warden nodded. "Someone who followed you through the canyon." The warrior clenched his fist. "I will find him." But there was no time. Dozens of council dropships landed. Hundreds of armored soldiers poured out, powerful cannons charged with red lightning. The cubs ran behind Maya, crying softly. The warrior stepped in front of her, and his voice shook for the first time. "Maya, this is too many." Maya trembled. "What do we do?" He turned to her, and there was something different in his eyes, something raw, something real. "We fight together." She nodded. The warden raised its wings. Guardian, your power is new. I will lend you mine. A huge beam of blue light shot from its chest into Maya. Her body lifted into the air. Her mark glowed violently. Her eyes turned pure white blue. Her hair floated. Her skin shimmered like crystal. Her heartbeat echoed like a drum across the valley. She felt unstoppable. She felt terrifying. She felt alive. The warrior stared, stunned. Maya, you look like a guardian, she said, her voice layered with power. The battle for the sanctuary. The council general stepped forward, a massive figure in black armor with glowing red eyes. Bring me the cubs, he commanded. Kill the guardian. The army charged. Maya raised her hand. A wall of blue fire exploded outward, lifting soldiers into the air and slamming them back down. The warrior leaped beside her, his blade glowing, cutting through attackers like lightning. The cubs huddled behind the warden, the sky filled with ships. The ground shook. The valley screamed with battle. Maya's power grew stronger, but she didn't feel fear, only purpose. Only protection, only destiny. The warden roared, sending shockwaves through the valley. Maya, the warrior shouted. They are targeting the cubs. She turned. 10 soldiers had broken through and were sprinting toward the cubs. Maya's pulse exploded. A shockwave burst from her body, so powerful it shattered stone, flipped soldiers through the air, and froze the entire battlefield for a full second. The warrior whispered, "By the stars, Maya." She didn't hear him. Her eyes were locked on the general. He raised a weapon the size of a cannon. Maya, the warden warned, he carries ancient technology older than even the core. The general fired. A red beam shot across the valley, straight at Maya, straight at the cubs, straight at destiny. Maya screamed and raised both hands. Blue light exploded. The valley vanished in white.